Hello, welcome back to IT Landy, Nugget courses. Previously, we tested the replica set and HA. We will continue now with the testing. This task number 3 is by we're doing a restart to and see what will happen. Does my environment stay up and running or I'm doomed? From the navigation menu, select the surface under discovery with the load balancer, and that will list the endpoint with the hyperlink, yeah, the IP address on the port as below. Then if you click on it, that basically will take you to the browser itself. From the menu itself, deployment, select the API deployment. Then you can see you go to from the scale, present enter for desired number, select OK, and then basically see if the replica set will reflect. We said earlier we're going to get failure because we don't have enough. So what we will have this time, it will run the deployment, return to the browser, select refresh. You will not see any error, but you will see that API hostname change between the two API instances, yeah, within the application itself. Which one is running, which one is pending. Okay, this is something like that. Again, navigate. After refreshing the page, give it enough time, the hostname value will be changed. You see the host on the stat will be different. Which one's healthy, which one's not healthy. Again, navigate back to the main landing page and you will see them. The takeaway from all of these, you can see the number of restarts and you will see the hosts which is running and the hosts which are not running. I mean, there is another way to achieve that one, but I'm just going to show you. You can delete the one if you want to. Once running, you can delete the one which are not healthy and launch one which is pending. It will take over basically. So take away from here, you can see them, they are pending, waiting for a resource to be available. You delete one, they will become available and they will consume what you have. Or assuming you are doing that way, and you can scale down basically by going again to scale deployment and from 4 to 1, click OK. That will delete the others basically, and you will end up with, 1. Here we go. I've deleted all the others. I have one, and it is running and healthy, and it says 1 pod out of 1. If you remember, before it was 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 4, yeah, or 2 out of 4 at some point. Right. Next is we have different things, certain load balancer. I'm just going to leave it for the next session, but let me just recap what we did here around the testing and how we can achieve that one through the GUI or through the API. Through the GUI, we navigated to basically the workload. First of all, you go to your browser, localhost on the port 8001, where it takes you to the dashboard. Yeah, we have the dashboard on our Kubernetes services. I go to the cluster, workload, and then I go to the replica set. I have one. What I do with my replica set, I change it from 1 to 2, which means I've got 2 replica sets. Yeah, or you can do 3 or you can do 4. Now if I do 2, if I have enough resources, that number of pod will be 1 out of 2, and then you will see 2 out of 2 when the second pod getting created, and after a few minutes it will be up and running. Yeah, or if I do 4, I will have 2 out of 4, assuming I don't have enough resources. If I have enough resources, it will be showing up there healthy, but will take time to replicate. How do I know how they look like? It's all driven by the name here. You can see on my deployment, I've got web and I've got API, and they are both running. And look at the web, look at the API. They have unique name, web hyphen hexadecimal long number for the agent, and same thing for how many pod you will be running and the age of the pod. Now, I can do exactly the same what we did during the session, but via the kubectl. Yeah, I go through the kubectl, or let's start with the YAML file. Through YAML file, what I can do, I can go open the YAML file through VI or Vim, and then click I, go to the replica set, change the numbers, click WQ colon WQ write quit, save. It will do exactly like what we did here through the GUI. If you are familiar with the GUI, do the GUI. If you are not familiar, do the other one. Make sure you have enough resources. Otherwise, if you remember on that YAML file, we allocated a resource of CPU or RAM. Yeah, make sure these are not taking the entire pool of resource I have. If I spin on VMs, like AKS, 2 nodes. I explained that earlier, with like each node, like each VM basically, 8 gigabits RAM and I don't know, 2 CPUs, yeah, time, I don't know, 2 gig or whatever it is in total, 4. Which means when I allocate resource CPU or RAM to my pods, I need to make sure they do not exceed. I always leave 20 to 30% allocation available for any additional resources, yeah, and especially around scale up, scale down, because maybe sometimes, like at later on when you start like improving this with your environment, with your deployment, you need to make sure, like, the automation in place, not like this what we did just manually. This is just for you to get familiar with how we can deploy containers, how we can play with the redirection, and how we can play with the scale up, scale down, and HA. And how did we test it? By deleting, stopping down. You can do the same thing. You can go to the kubectl, and then you can basically delete one of the replica sets. Yeah, kubectl delete. If you go to remove one of the names, and you will see what happened, hyphen namespace, hyphen whatever it is, and then that will delete it, and then you will see it will get created because your replica set is set to 2 or 3. Okay, not 1. Please be careful. Do not use kubectl delete if you have only 1, because you will delete the entire pod. That's all what I have for you for today. Next, we have the last exercise, which is 5. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.